Advertising Champions, your go to destination for insights into the dynamic world of advertising. I'm Tony Stanol, and with us today is Scott Muskin, Executive Creative Director at Friends and Neighbors in Minneapolis. Welcome, Scott.
Thanks so much, Tony. Great to be here.
Now, you and I have spoken over the years. You've got a great portfolio, a great career background in a couple of very outstanding agencies and even in client side. Walk us through that really quick, and then I want to hear what you're up to these days.
Sure. I don't know. Thanks for the compliment. Sometimes you're only as good as your last at bat, as you know, Tony. So sometimes it feels like your portfolio is you're never as happy with your portfolio as it might appear to someone else. So thanks for the encouragement there. My career goes back about honestly too long to mention 20 plus years. It doesn't feel quite right to say that, but certainly over 20 years. And it goes back to, I started in catalogs, direct mail. The company I worked for was the for-profit arm of Minnesota Public Radio here in Minnesota, Minneapolis. And it was the kind of thing where 10% of the profits went to public radio or public television, so you were buying the stuff that public radio listeners like to buy. And then that company got acquired by Target. And so I kind of moved into the Target world, continued. They kept those catalogs alive, but I moved into the digital world. I suppose that made sense to them. And I guess it sort of made sense to me too, because what you have, the space you have to say and the space you have to write about a product in a catalog is kind of commensurate to the space you have and the attention span you have in digital. And Target was building out all their digital platforms at the time, and it felt like a great fit. So I spent a couple of years there and then moved to the agency world and continued to work on Target. I joined a company here called Olson, which evolved over the years and grew at an inflationary pace. But I continued to focus on Target and led that account from a creative side for several years. And then branched out to the PR world and won and led the McDonald's co-op account at Olson as well. And the PR and engagement, I should say, it seemed like an interesting place to be at Olson. It was quite a creative place to be. So worked with them and then went on my own in 2018 and then had enough of that nonsense and joined Friends and Neighbors as Executive Creative Director in 2020.
And what kind of agency is Friends and Neighbors? Sounds like a friendly one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is definitely a friendly one. The name is really what we lean into when we talk about ourselves, from a client service perspective, from just the work that we put out in the world, and the way we sort of operate on a core DNA basis. We are a small, I guess you'd call boutique, but we don't think of ourselves as boutique. But we are a full service marketing and advertising agency. Branding is our strength. Really smart strategy from a point of view of what we have called, we have created a discipline called brand anthropology. So it's looking at brands from an anthropological point of view and then creating work from your learnings. I find it a wonderful place to create creative work because if you go through that process of brand anthropology, you are immediately creating something relevant and something meaningful to all parties involved, audience and brand.
Great. Now, we talked about your body of work and how the most recent stuff seems to be the most important. It's top of mind for people. What are you proudest of in terms of some of the work you've done at Friends and Neighbors?
It's funny that definition changes as you get older. The relationships become more important. I'm proudest of the work that makes my clients feel like they're on top of the world. Even if that work is not is not above the line, as we used to say. Tony, do you remember we say above the line? I'm not so sure there's a line anymore. We have a client that walks and talks like a retail direct to consumer client, and they do have some of that. But at the core, they are a B2B brand, a safety brand. They make flame resistant apparel primarily for the energy sector. And when we can create content for them that positions them as the thought leader that they are, and parcel that out into a true brand campaign that gets them, credit for that position in the marketplace, that sort of 1-2 punch that makes my clients feel like they're really on top of their game, and they write me a handwritten note that says how pleased they are with the work and how grateful they are. That's the good stuff to me. In terms of visible work in the world, we just last fall, and we're re-upping this fall to help the Minnesota Department of Health remind people that they still need to get their COVID and flu shots. And last year that was a tough sell because no one wanted to think about COVID. Aren't we done with COVID? Et cetera. And certainly don't tell me I need to go get another shot and add to my to-do list. We came up with a sort of endlessly positive campaign that just ended with yes, every question. And we asked the questions, we posed the questions in our video and digital ads that people would probably be asking. They all ended with yes, and it was a celebratory yes. It was fireworks and pink glitter and the endless optimism that put it on your list. You should get your COVID and flu shot. Yes, and it worked. It worked wonders, and happy clients, and hopefully we made a difference in some people's lives to be healthier. That's a wonderful place to be as a marketer and as a creative guy.
Very, very cool, Scott. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. Thanks for being with us today.
You're welcome. Absolutely.
And thank you for joining us on this episode of Advertising Champions. You could find more episodes like this at dailynewsnetwork.com, and we'll see you next time.
We've been around for 16 years, working with clients, with thousands of clients. We're working with agencies to be able to scale them and grow them and provide them services that would cost them way more than it would for them to do it themselves. Anything oriented around lead generation, video creation, web design, we're full service, so we can really serve most people.